Welcome everybody to this year's Autodesk University AutoCAD Electrical Meetup. Super excited to have you all here. We're going to give it just a minute or two to let everybody log in, and then we have a jam-packed agenda for you. Still seeing the attendee list climb, so excited to have you all here. We're just going to give it a minute or two, and then we will get going shortly. For any of you that are veteran attendees of this AutoCAD Electrical Meetup, we will be having a slightly different format in what we are doing. We're going to have a few announcements and some presentations, and then we will do live Q&A at the end with whatever time we have left. So if you have questions, please feel free to fill out the question pane while we are waiting for everybody to join, but just know that we are going to be doing a few other things first in this special edition of the AutoCAD Electrical Meetup. All right. The list is still climbing, but I don't want to make people wait too long. So I think I might get us going. And as people are joining, we will just, we will welcome them into this along the way. So I think we will be good. So once again, welcome everybody to this year's special edition of our AutoCAD Electrical Monthly Meetup for this year's AU. So excited to have you all joining us. Many of you joined a session that we did for Q&A with Rob Stein and myself last night for one of our classes that was presented during this AU online. And it was really exciting to see you all and get tons of your questions there. So I know some of you said you would be bringing more questions today to this version, and that is fantastic. I am joined by quite a few esteemed colleagues, and I want to get a chance to introduce everybody along the way. First of all, I am Tiffany Bachmeyer. I lead the manufacturing consulting team for Autodesk for the Americas. And I am joined by my colleague, Matt Durst, who is often with me on all of these, almost every single one, but rarely are you ever not with me. And we team up to do these AutoCAD electrical meetups. And he helps me not only facilitate this, but he also brings you the vault expertise to all of these questions. So Matt, I don't know if you want to say hi.
Yeah, hello everybody. Excited to be here. This is an exciting time of the year, even though we can't be in person, but it's great that we can all share this time together.
Exactly. I think we all are feeling that. We wish so much that we could all be in Vegas, or actually this year we were going to be in a new location, but in new spots, and being able to share all of this excitement and fun of AU together. But that will happen again soon, and it's so exciting to be able to welcome so many more people around the globe to these sessions too. So it's an exciting time to be able to do this. I also want to introduce a few special guests that I have on the call, and I will be kicking it to Rachel in a second. So Rachel Hartley has joined us from the Autodesk Group Network, and I'll let her say hi to you in just a second. And Holt Design has also joined us with a special guest edition that I really am excited to have them here and sharing with you some exciting new things for AutoCAD Electrical in this very special edition of the meetup. So with that, I'm going to first kick it to you, Rachel, and I will give you presentation mode, and then I will bring us all back in, share a little announcement with you all, and then kick it over to the guys at Holt Design.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, while Tiffany's giving me the share mode, my name's Rachel Hartley. For those of you who do not know me yet, it's great to be here with you today and the rest of AU. I know your guys' schedules are probably so packed, so it's great that you guys are taking the time to attend this session. I am representing the Autodesk Group Network, so really excited to tell you more about it and what that network entails. And Tiffany, I'm not seeing a pop-up yet for the share screen.
You're not. I just gave it to you. That's interesting. Okay, let's try it one more time.
There we go.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect. Get that in presenter mode for you all. Awesome. So yeah, like I said, I am a part of the Autodesk Group Network, which is our new network that we formed and launched in 2019 to support the global network of user groups. And before I jump right into, telling you more about the network, I am interested in launching a poll just to get an understanding if you all are interested. I'm sure you guys have been attending this one for most of the year, but if you're interested in attending any other types of meetups or community groups that are led by customers or even Autodesk. So Tiffany, if you don't mind launching that poll for me, that would be fantastic.
Should be launched.
We'll give you guys just about 45 seconds or so to get those votes in. We already see that they're climbing to almost 50%. Keep rising. Thank you. We have a lot of, majority yeses coming in. We're already at almost 80% voted. Get those votes in. We'll give you guys just about 20 more seconds. You see I'm starting to taper off. All right, final chance. Fantastic. And Tiffany, if you don't mind closing the poll for us, we'll share the results to everyone.
Will do.
We do have a large amount of yeses, which is fantastic to see. And a few of you guys aren't quite sure, but that's okay. So thanks for taking that poll, and that'll dive us right into letting you guys know about the group network and ultimately how to find these new user communities to become a part of. So our group network is a global network of our user groups, developer groups, and online groups. This is across all products and industries that Autodesk serves, and we are climbing at 170 plus groups that are worldwide. So we cover 10 different languages and 15 different products as of now. But really, it's a way for you all to connect with others, to learn, build relationships, and share knowledge. So I think that in essence is why you all are here today attending this meetup, and this is likewise. So you can find local groups, and right now, of course, with the pandemic, a lot of these are being hosted virtually, but you can also become a part of online groups, which includes Facebook, LinkedIn. You're in Russia by chance, Telegram and VK, WhatsApp groups. So a lot of different ways, and most of these groups are led by customers, but we have partner channels leading groups and even Autodesk employees. So Tiffany and this lovely meetup here today is actually a part of the group network and listed on our site. So this is a way, and after this, I'll be putting in the chat for you all to go directly to the site so you can start searching and finding those additional communities to become a part of. And AutoCAD is one of our top 3 products that groups are representing. So I do want to take some time just to give you a bit of the history and what we envision for the group network and who and what we're trying to serve. And so ultimately, Autodesk Group Network envisions a world where people connect in community to share knowledge and collaborate across firms and industries to improve the use of design technology and make a better world. And when we founded the group network, it was really unique because we were working with a lot of our existing group leaders who had been leading groups sometimes for even a decade. And it was important for us that, one, our vision aligned with their vision and why they were leading and managing these user groups, and that also we were providing the right type of support and entering the space in the appropriate ways that they would like us to. So with that, we formed officially the Autodesk Group Network. And our mission at the Autodesk Group Network is to create this global network and underpin that community with the right tools and resources that they need to manage user groups, making it easier for our leaders to lead and actually focus on the value-added activities to support their community and grow those communities. And what I think is really unique is connecting and collaborating with other leaders. So this network and formalizing this creates conversation spaces and opportunities for you to maybe connect with an AutoCAD leader in San Francisco, someone on the East Coast, someone even in the UK, and maybe Australia. So you're able to share that knowledge and not only tap into those expertise, those people with that expertise, but also with a community building background. One of the other things is reaching personal and professional goals. So a lot of people have a lot of different motivations for leading groups, but sometimes that does include reaching those personal or professional career advancements, maybe reaching expert elite status, getting well regarded in that product or industry. So becoming a part of the group network and leading a group is an outlet to help you achieve those goals. And then ultimately adopting new and better ways of working. I think that's what we are all striving to do and how we use Autodesk technology and in your work environments. What's really important though that we stay grounded on is that Autodesk and the Autodesk Group Network is supporting without centrally controlling or owning any of the groups in the network. And really our mission and at the heart of it is to create those deeper connections between groups and with Autodesk. So with that, that's a little bit of the background and the history, and there is a lot more activity that is happening. But I am interested in launching one more poll. I promise this is the last one, just to see who all is interested in leading a group. Maybe you have already thought about it. It's something that's on the radar, but you could be interested now after this presentation. So just take a few minutes, 1 minute probably, to answer, and we'll get those results going. We already have reaching halfway of those that have voted. So thanks for getting those in. We'll give it another about 30 seconds. We're already reaching 70%. Give it another 20 seconds. Get those votes in. We're close to that 80% mark. We're about there. All right, we're starting to see them taper off. We'll give you 5 more seconds. Last chance. All right, fantastic. Tiffany, if you could close those polls for us, show us the results. We do have a large number that is no, and that's definitely okay, because leading a group is definitely not for everyone. It is it's almost another job sometimes, but it's great to see that 12% that said yes, and also that 10% who is interested now. So I'll be getting all of these results, and it'll be great to follow up with each of you that did express interest. But the great way about it is that you can become a part of the group network in multiple different capacities. You can, if you are leading a group, definitely add it to the network, have it represented in the program, and start tapping into all of our other leaders. But you can join a virtual or online community, or even find that local group near you. So you can just become a new member of all of these communities that are most relevant to you. And like I said, becoming a leader and starting your own group is definitely in the realm of possibilities. And we have a lot of resources and people, especially, to help guide you through that process. So we have launched the Community Dojo, which has our best practice guides for getting up and started leading a group. So we're there, and there's people behind that to help guide and mentor you through that. So I'll share both of those links to our site and the Community Dojo to help you get started. And you can always email us at groupnetwork@autodesk.com. So with that, I'll hand it back off to Tiffany. Thanks for letting me be here with you today.
Thank you so much, Rachel. That was fantastic. Great to see. I'm going to steal presentation back from you. And I've apparently lost my own panelist rates. Hold on 1 second, everybody. Always fun. Oh.
You should have it now, Tiffany.
I do, thank you. Yep, just getting the right monitor going.
Perfect.
All right. Perfect. So with what Rachel just said, I have a special announcement for everybody. We are not ending, very, very important that you understand this, we are not ending the AutoCAD Electrical monthly meetup, but we are moving it officially to the Autodesk Group Network platform. So this will be the last one that we do like this, yes, and then we will be promoting in a different way, and even probably on a different platform. I am more than likely going to be using Zoom webinar as opposed to GoToWebinar, but more information on all of that. We are going to take a pause on December, because December is a tough time for everybody, and we will start again in January in the new platform. So you guys will all be able to see a lot more about what this group network does with Rachel and her team. I am super excited to be hosting still on that. And I'm also excited to explore perhaps having some of you help host too. So we can definitely dive into some of those results on some of you who might be interested if you do want to take on one of the monthly meetups and be able to lead that. Happy to have more people to help support this. The more the merrier, and I think it just makes us all better as we do this. So thank you again, Rachel. So excited to have you here, and thank you for all the great info on Group Network.
Oh, thank you.
Now, for any of you who have never attended this before and you're saying, new platform, I didn't even know about this platform currently, just to explain what we've been doing in this particular monthly meetup. Our monthly meetups, and there are quite a few out there that do all sorts of different things, including all those group network meetings that Rachel was just telling you about. They do a lot of different things. It could be promoting some of the same information to share out with more and more people and then doing Q&As. It could be a meeting of the minds of, and less about a product, but more about an actual discipline, like a meeting for all mechanical engineers or all electrical engineers, that kind of thing. We kept this one really specialized to making it all about AutoCAD electrical and any adoption questions, Q&A, ask the experts, all of that. So it's always been kept as a very open platform to do a lot of just open Q&A, to have anybody using AutoCAD electrical around the world come here to be able to ask questions on a monthly basis and have access to people like myself, Matt, sometimes other colleagues of ours around Autodesk. And every now and then we do some special guest things, as well as, obviously once a year I typically do what's new in the software, what's coming in the new releases, that kind of thing. But for the most part, we keep it really, really open Q&A. But I'm also open. Last year at Autodesk University, so at the same time last year, we had a lot of discussions around potentially featuring certain kinds of special trainings or quick vignettes on different things that you guys are looking to see, or maybe even having you all start sharing out a little bit around how you're utilizing electrical and the things that you're doing with it. We hadn't had a chance to really implement that over this last year, and I'm really excited about what we can do with the group network to start doing that and kind of not changing this platform, but making it even better and improving it with even more opportunities for us to connect and do other things in these monthly meetups. Now, with that said, I wanted to do something special for Autodesk University, and I am so excited to have been joined this year by Holt Design. These two gentlemen need no introduction, but I'm going to give it to them anyway. Many of you may recognize Nate Holt on screen here. He is the person who created AutoCAD Electrical. So you can imagine my excitement of having him join us today. It is insanely exciting. And Andy Holt is a huge power user and amazing consultant on AutoCAD Electrical as well, teamed up the two of them together doing some really awesome things with all of you out there. Many of you may already be working with them, and they have some special things to share with you that they've been working on within the software and some new additions that you can go out and find. And I won't steal anything else from them. I'll let them tell you about it. But so excited to have you guys here, and so grateful for it too. It's an honor to have you on this call. So with that, I will pass to them.
Well, thanks, Tiffany. It's an honor to be here. Yeah, we're really excited. And I will share my screen as soon as I'm able to. Here we go. Okay, now I have to figure out which screen it's sharing. Wrong one. There we go. Let's try that one.
It always happens with GoToWebinar. Yep.
Yep. Okay, I think you should be seeing AutoCAD Electrical now.
We are.
Excellent. Okay, so I just wanted to again say thanks to Tiffany for letting us come on and share a little bit about what we've been doing. Like she said, my dad is the godfather of AutoCAD Electrical. I'm not sure what that makes me. Maybe the godson of AutoCAD Electrical. I don't know. But we've been doing a lot of work within the software as users and developers, and we wanted to show you all something that has recently come out on the Autodesk App Store, which is the Holt Design Toolkit. This is a collection of about 15, well, not about 15, it is 15 tools that have come from our real world experience. And these are opportunities that we saw for some enhancements for effectiveness and to gain some quality control. And I think will really benefit the designers and the drafters out there, as well as the managers, because it should affect your bottom line in a positive way as well. So the Holt Design Toolkit, this is an app. There's a free 30-day trial. You can check it out, play around with it. It's available on the Autodesk App Store in the AutoCAD electrical section. Or you can check out our website, holtdesignco.com. And if you're interested in looking at what is in the toolkit, we've got videos for every single one of these tools. And our hope is that we can add more, that we have a lot more ideas. And you know, there's just a lot kicking around in our heads that we would love to add to this tool set in the future. So we're not gonna have time to look at everything, but I do want to show you a little bit today. Again, I'm really excited about these, and I think you all are going to love them. If you see some opportunities, some similarities from what I show you today to what you do, I think you're really going to enjoy this. So this first thing that I want to show you is based off of a panel front view drawing. And the organizations that we work with, kind of the industry that we're in, panel front views are a big deal, and I think they're underutilized because there's a lot of data here that we can take advantage of, and that's what the Holt Design Toolkit wants to do. We want to take advantage of the data that's provided on a front view drawing and maybe even create some new data there. And so one thing that we have looked at is how can we sort of create boundaries for you, or how can users create boundaries for themselves so that they can maximize their efficiency within the software? Because as you all know, it's kind of free reign. It's so flexible, it's so powerful. You can do just about anything you want. But sometimes when you're in project work, you might need to kind of tighten those constraints a little bit, and that'll help you to be more efficient in your workflows. And so what we see here is an opportunity to map our terminal strips, which are over here, the TB1, TB8, 2, 9, whatever, all these numbers here. These are our terminal strips on a panel front view drawing. And what we'd like to do is to be able to map those to major equipment that's over here on this side of our panel. So it's real easy to do that with the Map Term Strips tool. All you have to do is pick on a major component, and then you want to select associated terminal strips. And maybe I'll pick these 4 here. I'll just pick the top 4 because probably what I'm thinking is, you know, once this gets constructed, you know, I know that this is a major piece of equipment. This is a 411L Schweitzer relay, which is going to have a lot of wires going to it. So I'm probably going to want 4 terminal strips, and I'm going to want them up at the top so that you know, I've got the shortest wire run I can. So I just pick those top 4, hit enter, and now it asks me how many terminals are in the terminal strip TB1. And I know that this has 14 in it. And what it's done is that it's now mapped TB1, 8, 2, and 9, these 4 that I picked. It's mapped that to this piece of equipment here, this 11.1 V3. And it knows that all 4 of those have 14 terminals because they all have the same catalog and manufacturer information. Okay, so we've mapped those. Now, what does that give us? Because on a front view diagram, that's great, but where that really helps us out is over on a schematic drawing. And we'll use a different one that I mapped earlier here. This is 11.2 V3. But I want to go ahead and let's say I want to start making terminal assignments. You know, maybe I've got a standard drawing that I've pulled in, a standard schematic drawing that I pulled in, and I need to reassign all the terminals, or maybe I got a markup back and all my terminals are messed up and everything needs to be reassigned, or you know how it goes. Sometimes a work order comes through and things change. So it's real easy to make those changes if I just hit that Make Term Assignments button up there. And then I go ahead and I pick on a terminal, and then it asks me to select a related component. Well, that just means that I want to pick that piece of major equipment that maybe I have made some assignments on. And this brings up a dialog window that shows me, in this case, I've assigned TBs 13, 14, and 7 to 11 to V3. And if I pick on one of these, it shows me everything, or all the terminals that are available that have not been used yet in my project. And so you're seeing 13 and 14 haven't been used, but number 7 has, and it has available 11, 12, 13, and 14. And over here is my used column. And if you want to see what cables are attached to that, you can just go ahead and click the Show Cables button, and it will show you that there. But it's real easy to make that change. I'll just pick number 11 here and hit OK. And there, now that terminal updated to TB7 number 11. So super easy to make those kind of changes. You can also do I'll go ahead and undo that. I'm going to do a continuous pick. Maybe I need to change all of these 4 here, TB6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and put those on that TB7. So what I can do is I'll go ahead and pick that terminal, pick that component, come back in here, and then I'm going to turn on continuous pick, and that goes to TB7 number 11, 12, 13, and 14. Real easy, just like that. And it also says end of unused terminals reached, so it's not going to let me go ahead and add a 15 because it knows that a 15 doesn't exist, and that's just going to create another drafting problem for you. All right. So that's a tool that will help you stay within your constraints as far as your terminal assignments go. And I think that that's something, based on my experience working on large projects, that's something that's going to be very useful, because at the beginning of a project, the project designer or the engineer has typically already assigned major equipment to specific terminal strips, and we want it to look a certain way. And so really what we're doing is we're just creating a piece of software that mimics that, that setup, so that we can work within those appropriate constraints.
So Andy, I just have to tell you, we just got a comment in from somebody on the call that said, this is a very powerful tool. So super excited, I think, already.
Awesome.
To see what you guys are doing. So
well, you ain't seen nothing yet. Thanks, Tiffany. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this preview annotation tool right here. Now this works also, we're still in working with terminals. You may have noticed that this is our Terminator section here. And so what it's asking me to do is to pick on a terminal. I'm going to pick this one right here. And this is showing me, basically I picked on number 7, or TB7 number 13, and it's showing me all of the terminals that are on that term strip, which has been predefined, as you remember, with having 14 total terminals on it. Now it's not showing me 11 through 14 because I didn't rebuild that database, so it's not showing me the data, the connection data there. I would need to rebuild the database in order for that to show up. So that is something to be aware of. That's one of my favorite commands. It solves 50% of my problems. Rebuild the database. But one thing I wanted to show you here is what this does is this basically gives you a preview according to how recently you've updated your Project Scratch database of what a terminal strip annotation is going to look like if you're going to annotate that. And so what we're seeing here is 1 through 8, we're seeing the internal connections over here on this side, and we're seeing the external connections over here on this side, and these all have cables, and it's all the same cable, and it's in a specific order: black, white, red, green, orange, blue, white, black, and red, black. Now, I don't know about you, but in my experience, this order is important, and it often gets convoluted and messed up, and sometimes it's hard to chase down those sorts of changes, and it can be very frustrating because you might have cables that are all over different drawings inside your project, depending on the size of your project. Well, now it's real easy to make changes to some of these external components. So for example, here, I can just hit this edit button after I've selected cable 355, the O for orange, and I can just make some quick changes here to my list. So if I needed to swap orange and green, say, I could do that real easily. I could just make that one green, and then I can make this one orange, and I can hit OK, and then hit OK again, and it processed those changes. Now I would have to surf and find out where those are at, but again, that's real easy. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and rebuild this database just so that we make sure that those changes are processed. And this works, of course, on open or closed drawings. So I'm pretty sure that the drawing that those two cables are on is closed right now. It's not one of these three drawings that I have open. But we can go ahead and we'll jump over there. So I'm gonna do the same thing again. You see now we got these bottom four here. And so you see orange and green have been switched. I'm gonna go ahead and hit this go to button so that I can go to number 4. And let's see where that takes me. Okay, so there is number 4 right there. And there's 5. And you can see that number 4 is now orange and number 5 is now green. Okay, so you were able to make a quick, easy edit on drawings that are closed, all from this window over here. Now let's do this again. And so what the benefit of this, I think, is that when you get a drawing back and it's marked up and it's redlined, and it's okay, this stuff needs to go here, this change this, change that. A lot of that, in my experience, has to do with these terminal connections and cable assignments and where things are winding up and things like that. And so being able to basically click on a single terminal and then make all the changes that you would need for that entire term strip is pretty, I think it's pretty cool. So I could even change this final, the other side, the other end of the component, or the component that's on the other end, and I can make that pin. Let's see what I'm already using here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So maybe I'm changing that to 8 for whatever reason. That just needs to change to 8. Okay. So it's showing me that's the change it's going to do. And I'm going to hit OK. And now let me, I forgot what drawing that was on. I should have written that down, or even actually looked at what the drawing name was. But I remember I did not update my database. So, but in this case, I'm going to go to that drawing, and it should have changed that to pin number 8 right there. Okay, so that's a quick and easy way to make changes and edits and corrections on closed drawings, and you don't have to open them. They automatically update. But once again, be aware to use that rebuild database tool. That's important. Okay. All right, so that's the bulk of what I wanted to show with the Terminator tool. Let's move over here to the sequencer tool. Now, one of the things that I've been asked a couple of times is, as we're looking at these panel front view drawings, is there a way that we can use the geography of a panel front view drawing to create kind of a master wire sequence list? And the answer to that is there is now. And it's this tool right here. It's called Set Wire Sequence. And so what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and hit that. And it found, obviously I've tested this and it does work. And so I've created this file dozens of times. It went ahead and found a file already in my project folder that corresponds to this particular panel. And it's asking me if I want to use that to build a new wire sequence from. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that because I want you to see this dialog right here. So what we're showing on this dialog is at the top here are build directions. So we want to select one from each group. So we can build top down and left to right or right to left. We can build bottom up and left to right or right to left. So we want to set one, a vertical direction and a horizontal direction. And I'm going to go ahead and pick top to bottom and right to left. And then frequently what I've seen, at least in our industry, is that fuses and terminals, they don't always follow that top to bottom, left to right structure. So sometimes, like here, you're seeing the fuses. These are on a swinging door, a hinge door, and they're not necessarily at the top, geographically speaking, at least on this drawing of the panel. And so they might get a special case. And so what we've allowed is the opportunity to say, you know what, put fuses at the top of the list because I want to hit those first, or put them at the bottom of the list because I want to hit those last, or just do no change. They're geographically where I want them. And so just kind of fit them into the overall picture of the wire sequence. But in this case, we'll do top. And then kind of the same thing for term strips. Term strips here, in this case, we can orient those around the fuses. We can say that they're opposite of the fuses. So if the fuses are top, all the terminal strips are going to go at the bottom. Or we can put them right before the fuses or right after the fuses and kind of in between the fuses and all of the other components. Or once again, you could just say no change. Geographically, this is how I want everything to flow. Let's go ahead and do after fuses there. All right, and we'll hit OK. And what this brings up now is another dialog that will allow you to manually update this wire sequence, the master wire sequence for this particular location code, which in this case is RK1. And so you can move stuff up and down. You can have all kinds of fun with this. So it is what it is. You can move stuff around. You can remove stuff if you need to. For example, what have we got here? I know I've got my enclosure in here somewhere. Here, right there. We can remove that. Even though it's never going to show up on a schematic drawing, I can still get rid of it. I can hit restore. If I get things too out of control, just hit restore and it takes it back to that original order. Or I can hit rebuild and go back to the previous menu and start over. But once I have things the way that I want them, I'm going to hit OK, and it's going to save it as a simple text file. Okay. So even if you don't have panel front view drawings, you can create a text file, and I'll show you what they look like here in a second. You can create a text file and still use the wire sequence tool that actually sorts everything here. But I'm just going to go ahead and save that. We'll overwrite the one that's in there. And let me see if I can find that so I can bring it up for you because that may be useful to look at. See if I can bring that up in a text editor. There it is right there. That's really it. That's what it's working on. And the very last element in the list is that it is a top and a right function. That's the direction that it's going in. Okay. So once you set that, you can go to any schematic drawing and you can hit the do wire sequence button, and you now have three options where you can pick an individual wire. And we'll go ahead and click that. And looks like I set up my wire sequence exactly the way I did last time. Go figure. Let me change it real quick because apparently I have tendencies. So let's go ahead. We'll do
muscle memory, right?
That's right. That's right. Muscle memory. We'll just try to change everything as much as we can here. We'll do that, hit OK, save that, and yes. All right, let's try it again here. We'll hit do wire sequence, do an individual wire. And there we go. We got a new sequence this time. You see on my command line history, it's showing previous position 1. That stayed the same, and then it's flipped 2 and 3 there. Previous position on number 3 has now been moved to number 2. Okay, so you can do this on on a per wire basis, which is nice, right? That's pretty cool. The other thing that you can do is, let me jump over to another drawing, see what's on this one. Okay, we might get a good one here. And we can do an entire drawing. Just give this a couple of seconds to process. And what it does is it actually filters out any wire sequence that has less than 3 connections. So it's not going to bother with a wire that just is going from one component to another, like this one right here. It's just going to filter that out. But what you're seeing is that it has, this one basically looks like it totally flipped it. So it got 3 different wires on here, and so it's changed those wire sequences, and it did that in about 10 seconds. And so you can just imagine then doing an entire project. Now, a lot of the projects that I work on, the total number of schematic drawings is 80 to 100. So being able to set my wire sequences in a matter of minutes is going to save me just a ton of time. So that's really what the tool is designed to do is, when you're working on a medium or a large size project, this is going to be a huge time saver for you. And the nice thing too is that it gets every wire, and it even works when there's a source or destination arrow on a drawing. Let me see if I can pick one. Now I got to remember which drawings have source and destination arrows on them. It works across a source and destination as well. Let me go ahead. I don't know what's on the other end of this. There we go. There are 3 other connections, or actually, yeah, 3 other connections on another drawing, and it found those, and it went ahead and ordered them according to that master wire sequence that I had set up. So this is a huge time saver. It's going to get every wire. We always miss some when we're doing our manual wire sequencing, but it gets them all. It puts them in the order according to the way that you set it up, or the engineer tells you to set it up, or if you are the engineer, the way you tell yourself to set it up. So this is a huge time saver as far as wire sequencing goes. We're just about out of time, so there's a lot of other tools here that I'd love to show you. One thing real quick, we've got some symbol building tools here. Increment attribute name, value, X-term direction, set attribute gap, and reorder attribute definitions. These are tools that are helpful for building any kind of symbol, making them clean, look good, and also easier for you to work with once they're on a drawing. And so I'll just show real quick this increment attribute name tool. So you see what I've done on this. This is a rear view symbol for some kind of a relay. And what I had to do when I was building this was I had to take this group. You see how these are all 01s, term 01 here, and you can't see them, but these wire attributes are actually X8 term 01. They're all 01s, and the easiest way was to just kind of copy that whole group over. And then what you can do is you can use this increment name tool to kind of automatically increment the name of each attribute. And the way this works is I type in what the next suffix value is going to be. So this works on suffixes. And I can tell it I want to automatically increment. And then I say I want a window. And I just pick those attributes, and they automatically go to number 2. And there, that says 2, and that one says 2. And you can see that select next entity now for value number 3, and I can just window again. Okay, just like that, and like that. Hit return, and boom, and I can go on down the line real nice and easy. And the increment attribute value works in a similar way. Just real quick, 10 more seconds, I'll show you this. If I pick the increment attribute value tool, And it says I'll enter starting attribute definition. So maybe, see, I'm pretty sure this is not already X01, so we'll try that. I'm going to hit window, and I'm going to change all of these term attributes. Okay, now it says the red here is where I'm starting, and I actually want to start on the other end. So if I hit F for flip, it's going to start there. And hit return one more time. And so you can see what it did was starting here, it changed that to X01, and this last one is X16, and somewhere here in the middle, X07. All right, well, there's a lot more to the tool set. We hope to add a lot more in the future, but that gives you a little preview of some of the things you can do with the Holt design tools. So thank you, Tiffany. Thanks everybody for your time and attention.
Thank you so much. It's awesome to see you guys adding some new things in there and being able everybody to have access to that. It's super, super exciting. So thank you guys so much for sharing that. And I'm sure people could probably reach out to you if they had ideas of other things to go into it if they're looking for things. So that's exciting.
Absolutely. Yep.
There is some questions coming in. Somebody just asked, I think it was back with your first thing that you showed, does the annotation window work with multiple wires per connection?
Yes. Yeah. Did I stop sharing?
You did. That's
okay. I guess I need to share again. Now let's make sure I got the right screen this time.
You do.
Okay.
It's AutoCAD Electrical. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So this one here, I think this is the question. So if I take a look at TB7 again, you see we've got two external connections here. This totally unnecessary wire, which I drew in for test purposes, and this normal wire here. And if I hit the edit button, it allows me to choose which of those multiple connections I can edit. So if I just pick that first one, it brings up that window just like that.
Perfect.
I think that's the question. So hopefully that was the answer.
Good deal. Thank you.
Yep.
Perfect. And then somebody else asked, do you have an interconnecting wiring tool, for example, CP terminals to remote junction boxes? This is for contractor wiring. We like showing this graphically. Terminal, then through conduit to terminal.
Terminal, then through conduit, through terminal. I guess I would have to see.
I feel the same way. I need to kind of see it. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I would assume the answer, Greg, to your question is yes, with either the tools that we have natively in electrical or with something that Holt Design has, but I don't, I think I would need to see an example to be able to answer that a little bit more clearly.
And if it doesn't exist, we can make it.
That's right. And people are also asking, will this also work with the SDS add-on? And you guys know a whole lot about that, so.
We do know a whole lot about that. These are separate products. SDS is not required for Holt Design, and Holt Design is not required for SDS. So the answer, do they work together, is no, there's no relationship between the two. Do I recommend that you have both to maximize your AutoCAD electrical experience? Absolutely. SDS is awesome. You definitely need to look into that. In our opinion, it's not just for substation designers. We think that every AutoCAD electrical user would greatly benefit from the SDS tool set.
That's interesting too. That's good to know. Good deal.
And if you want us to show that off at some point in the future, we'd be happy to do that.
That sounds like a perfect future meetup topic. I love it. That sounds great. All right. And actually, Arman, good to see you, Arman, actually said, I second that comment on the SDS toolkit. So there you go. You got a backer on.
Right on, Arman.
Awesome. Okay, so we have quite a few questions coming in. Thank you guys so much again, Holt Design. So excited to have you in this very special occasion for Autodesk University. And I do want to see what we can get through in these last 10 minutes. If you guys don't mind hanging with us, we can absolutely see if any of those questions come in for you as well. I am going to go back to sharing my screen. I'm going to make myself the presenter. Here we go.
We've got to get a question for my dad in here. He's here. We got to use him, right? I took
I
up all of our
know.
time.
I've been waiting to see if we can't bait him into answering something here. So the one thing before I jump into the questions, the one thing I do want to announce for any of you that are newer to this, we heard a lot of this last night in the Q&A session that I did from our implementation class, was that there was a lot of new users on here. I just wanted to share, this is really early days, it's not out yet, but you guys are the first to know. I just finished recording an entire quick start for AutoCAD Electrical that will be coming live in our connected learning platform within Autodesk. You will see it soon. It is definitely not meant to replace 100% going to an AutoCAD Electrical Essentials class. You will still always hear me tout that that's the most important thing you could do. But this is a nice way to be able to have access to key information on getting started, all of the key things that you would need to do to be productive through creating schematics, panel drawings, and custom components. So excited about that. I was excited about the recordings, and once the editing and everything else gets done, we will have that live for you guys as well. So coming soon. All right, now back to Q&A, and I will actually, I don't even think we really need to share screen right now just to start answering some of these questions. And I will absolutely share electrical if needed, but let's crank through some of these, Matt. So I think one person early on, and I wanted to touch on this, asked something about what version we are using. So I am using 2021. Andy, it looks like you were using 2021 as well when I was looking at your screen. And my advice for the why, always use the latest version of AutoCAD Electrical. There is the most updated information in there. Over the last couple releases, we've been having a lot of key updates to the catalog database, key updates to even things that you don't necessarily see right away when you log into it, but things like bug fixes and optimization and workflow optimization, all of those things have been happening over the last couple releases. So strongly recommend using the latest and greatest version. The other things that have been getting a lot of attention in the last couple releases is the Emx Workflow. So the tools that allow us to work between AutoCAD Electrical and Inventor to do our panel design. So really important if you want that kind of functionality that you're actually using the latest and greatest versions. So that's my little plug on that. Thank you for asking that question. Matt, I think you answered a couple questions to people already in the chat around workflows with Vault. So everybody, if you're not reading it, I do believe he posted to all instead of private. So feel free to go look at those things. And let's see, I'm trying to see if there's ones that we can. So what somebody did ask a question, and I think Andy, it had a little bit to do since you were showing so much with panels. I have a very large control panel where I need to create footprints of the front and back view of all of the components in different drawings. Now the result is a duplication of the footprints in the BOM and or incorrect footprint updating when a part number changes, i.e. the front view on both drawings is shared with the same part number, but not the back. Is there any suggestions or best practices? Now, I'm going to answer this how I think I would, but if you guys have other things to add, then please feel free to jump in. So one of the first things I want to say is, if you're doing things like that, where you're showing front view and back view, you may, if you're interested, be better off utilizing something in a 3D fashion. So either doing that same workflow in 3D in AutoCAD, because electrical can handle 3D panel views, or actually using that Emx workflow in Inventor, which would give you the full parametric design capabilities. It would allow all the wire routing that we want to do to get wire lengths, all that good stuff. And then you can just create from the drawings the front view, back view, side views without having it have duplications. Now, the flip, if you just want to keep doing 2D in AutoCAD Electrical, would be to, and if you ever install or insert any of our components that come with the software, if you install, say, a Hoffman enclosure, you will often get multiple views of that enclosure when you insert it, only one, the front view, actually carries the catalog information and all of the rest of the intelligence. The other views actually do what we call a special explode. And any of you that know me know that exploding is a very dirty word in my book, because that breaks all the intelligence in electrical. But it does it automatically when we do the insert of those enclosures, that it breaks apart those pieces. So the side view and the back view are actually unintelligent, so they're not carrying those part numbers, but they've been connected to the front view to all be inserted at the same time. So that is a workaround, but that means every component and device, you would also need to set up your footprints to do that. So that may be a bigger lift for you than doing it in 3D. Andy, Nate, I don't know if you guys have other thoughts on that.
So typically in substation design, the rear views are used for wiring diagrams.
Mhm.
And so, yes, a lot of our experience is based off of using rear view and front view panel drawings. So that's not a problem as far as I can see. And the way that as far as the bill of materials goes, is that the front and the rear view drawings are separate, and so the bill of materials is built only on the front view panel drawing. So the rear view panel drawing does not push any data into the bill of materials. That's typically how we get around that sort of issue.
So that's how you guys assign that functionality. You're not putting part numbers on all of those. Yeah, sounds like what I was anticipating. Good deal. Hopefully that helps answer that for anybody who is looking for that. Let's see what else. Matt, is there anything else that you see that we could do in 3 minutes?
There's a question around how to join the electrical.net software development groups.
I saw that one. Yes. So I don't know, Nate and Andy, I don't know if you guys are a part of the developer network. I don't know that specific group. I don't know if there is specifically an electrical.net software development group. If there is, I'm curious to find out more about it too. But we definitely have a developer network and there's oftentimes pre-AU developer sessions for doing that. And you can join that. You get special access to the software early. You get access to other people that can help you if you're doing kind of development work on our software. So there's lots of options there. I don't know if you guys are a part of that too.
No, but we should be.
Okay. Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Matt, I think there was one that I think I could probably do pretty fast at the bottom here. Our team has been using Sheet Set Manager in AutoCAD and have found that there are disconnects between the Sheet Set Manager and the Project Manager of electrical. Is there a way to merge them and have them work together? So I think this is a really great question. There is not, because they are not intended to work together. They should replace one another. So in electrical, you should be working 100% in the project manager. The sheet set manager was actually a bit of taking some of the functionality of what we do in the project manager into electrical and carrying that through for the other verticals of AutoCAD. But in electrical, you really want to use the project manager. It gives you the most functionality and it ensures the most intelligence across all of the drawings in your AutoCAD electrical project. If you try to supersede that and just use the sheet set manager, you're going to lose the power of that WDP file, which is our project file, to really give you everything that it does with creating all the database information, the things Andy was talking about with scratch databases, and everything else that's crucial to the intelligence and interoperability between drawings within electrical. So good question. They're often asked, can I use one or the other? Always use the project manager within electrical.
And then Tiffany, probably one last quick one. Randy
Sure.
had asked if the class that you just finished recording will be included with the software.
Well, probably not included in the sense that it ships with it, but included in the sense that you can get it for free from Autodesk. Yes. So I believe it'll be located on our connected learning platform, and it'll be something that's open to every single user, not something that's held back by anything or anything that you have to purchase. So more to come on that. I promise to give updates to everybody as I think it's launching and as I hear more about it. Just early raw footage that I have thus far, but it's been recorded and it's been ready, and we'll be excited to share it with you when we have more news. So thanks, Matt, for asking that. And for everybody else who asked questions we couldn't get to, we are out of time. I'm so sorry, but we will try to follow up with you. If we don't get back to you, absolutely bring that back to the next meetup. And more information to come on the new platform and the new meetups for January. Don't worry, you will definitely get info. We'll be sending it out to everybody who's been attending these meetups over the last couple years. We'll make sure that that list is pulled together so that you guys are kept aware of everything coming with our new setup. And hopefully I'll be able to see all of your faces more. I'm hoping we can make it a bit more interactive in the meetups where we can start sharing webcams, maybe get you guys off mute more often and be able to make this a little bit more interactive. So thank you again so much to everybody that you're seeing here on video. You guys are amazing. Thank you for joining me for this year's special edition of our Autodesk University AutoCAD Electrical Meetup. And I wish you all the best of the rest of your AU experiences and look forward to seeing you all in January in the new platform. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.